ظهر هنا في حرة والدم مني هي.
To discover a complete tomb, it is incredible.
A rare discovery in Egypt.
A tomb perfectly preserved,
untouched and unlooted for 4,000 years.
We found the name Wahti. Who is Wahti? Who is he to have a tomb like this? It is a mystery.
Saqqara is the most important archaeological site in Egypt.
A real treasure trove.
الفريق كله مصري. في الصباح بتبتدي الرحلة من عالم الأحياء تنتقل لعالم الأموات.
شايفة حبة حاجات مش طبيعية كده.
وحدي ذكر اسمه كتير جدا في المقبرة. من وجهة نظر الشخصية كأنه بيقول المقبرة دي بتاعتي 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 بتاعتي.
His name is Car, and his name is written hieroglyphic as Car, and actually...
That looks like me. Look at those ears.
And he was the overseer of the pyramid city of Cheops and Kefren and Menkaure.
Well, this morning we're taking you on a journey back in time. You can discover King Tut's tomb at the Luxor, because where else but a pyramid for Egypt? Candace Charles live this morning at the Luxor with a look into the Egyptian past. Candace, good morning to you.
Good morning, John. Good morning, folks. You're absolutely right, John. This is the perfect place to discover King Tut's tomb. And of course, you can go along a journey with archaeologist Howard Carter, who discovered the tomb almost 100 years ago. It was intact as well, which is not very common for these tombs. So it's really cool to be able to go through this experience, an immersive experience bought by Imagine. Of course, I'm joined by Mackenzie Rollinson from Imagine Expositions as well. Now, we finally kind of made it towards the end of the exhibit. We've passed the tomb, the sarcophagus, and now we're at the one and only death mask. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, so you were in the death mask room. So this is right before the very last piece. This is the true celebration. This is perhaps like the most, I would say, like identifiable artifact of King Tut.
Absolutely.
You'll see it in several instances. We use it a ton, but ultimately, like, it is something to see.
What happened here?
Some missions worked for 1 or 2 months or 3 months and nothing found. And here, as you see today, every 30 seconds we found something new. Oh, my goodness.
دايما كانت بتدينا اللي ما بنتوقعوش. الله ايه ده بقى؟ ازاي؟
Peter! This is no domestic cat. My God, it's amazing. It's mind-blowing to think of what this might represent in terms of our understanding of ancient Egyptian culture, economy, religion.
If we can find Wahti and his mother and his wife and his 4 children after 4,500 years, that would be better than finding gold.
يا نهار أبيض.
Mr. Morton, you have no idea what you have unleashed.
What the hell?
She's unlike anything we've ever faced. Welcome to Prodigium.
My character, Nick, he's just caught up in this whole world that he doesn't want to get caught up in.
Who are you? I'm a doctor. My name is Jekyll, Dr. Henry Jekyll.
The central character behind all the events of the movie is Dr. Henry Jekyll, famous for being Jekyll and Hyde.
Dr. Jekyll operates a thing called Prodigium, and Prodigium essentially is an organization that pinpoints evil and tries to neutralize it. We recognize, examine, contain, destroy evil.
They study the mythologies of monsters, the histories of them.
Princess Amenet. She selected you as the vessel for the ultimate evil.
It's a science for them. And what I liked about that idea was, if we're gonna ground the monsters in a reality, then let's ground it in science.
We have been warned about this. The Luciferian elite know that this is coming. They know that their gods are coming. They believe they're going to have their golden age because they have been deceived by Lucifer, the fallen angel, who has deceived the entire world into believing that he is God. But if we look at even what this poster says for this movie, welcome to a new world of gods and monsters.
Somewhere in sands of the desert, the shape with lion body and the head of a man is moving its slow thighs. The darkness drops again. But now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. And what rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches towards Bethlehem to be born.
Oh, Meling, that was just beautiful. Thank you so much. Terry Toast. Your help. Thank you. Well, Mr. Douglas, very good of you to join us. Oh, please tell me, is the devil still pursuing you?
Well, perhaps you could explain to me what you mean by the devil. You seem to be on terms with him.
Well, permit me, Mr. Douglas, to tell you something of the devil as I've come to know him. The devil is that element in human nature that impels us to destroy and debase.
And what are you about upon this island but destruction and debasement?
Oh, well, I can tell you very plainly. No, please don't do that. For 17 years, I have been striving to create some measure of refinement in the human species, you see. And it is here, on this very island, that I, sir, have found the very essence of the devil.
What do you mean?
I have seen the devil in my microscope, and I have chained him.
We like the idea that Prodigium was hiding in plain sight in the Natural History Museum, and that Jekyll could use the resources of the museum to further his own research into monsters.
There's a lot to find out with Jekyll, and it's not giving too much away to say that he has quite a clear understanding of evil. It takes a monster to defeat a monster.
I love the element of mystery. It's quite dangerous and exciting.
Best learn to be wary of a man like me.
Welcome to a new world of gods and monsters.
mRNA is the key ingredient in vaccines helping us fight COVID-19. But what is mRNA? Here, in the human body, our cells are constantly making proteins to keep everything running smoothly. mRNA, or messenger RNA, is a key part of this process. It carries the instructions, or code, from the DNA to create different proteins in the cells.
And I suppose you could say, in a sense, metaphorically speaking, I've cut him to pieces. The devil, Mr. Douglas, I found, is nothing more than a tiresome collection of genes. And it is with great assurance that I can tell you that Lucifer, son of the morning, is no more.
Wow. I don't see how any of this specious nonsense justifies these monstrous disfigurements.
Well, very simply, they represent a stage in the process of the eradication of destructive elements found in the human psyche. And I have almost achieved perfection, you see, of a divine creature that is pure, harmonious, absolutely incapable of malice. And if in my tinkering I have fallen short of the human form by the odd snout, claw, or hoof, it really is of no great import. I am closer than you could possibly imagine, sir.
In a vaccine, mRNA is delivered inside a protective fatty coating, which can get into our cells to release the mRNA code. It instructs the cell to create a spike protein, the same protein you'll find in the COVID-19 virus. The body recognises these new spike proteins as foreign and then learns how to identify and fight the real virus. mRNA vaccines are only the beginning of a revolution in medical technology based on RNA. The possibilities for applying RNA research across a range of areas, such as cancer, rare genetic disorders, and infectious diseases, hold huge potential.
Ancient princess is awakened from her crypt beneath the desert, bringing with her malevolence grown over millennia and terrors that defy human comprehension. So really, again, we are being shown in our faces what is going on here and what is about to come upon this world. And as always, I'm going to show you some screenshots and show you some internet articles, and hopefully you can see what I am trying to convey here, and possibly you will see the same things. And as always, please do your own research and look into this stuff for yourself.
I am truly sorry, Mr. Morton. No matter what I do, you are going to die. Yes, evil is a disease. A pestilent infection, burrowing its way into our souls. The world needs a cure. You can be that cure.
Stop.
A sacrifice.
Just stop.
For the greater good.
I'm not interested in that at all. Okay.
Don't.
Okay. We're just going to take a minute, and we're all going to come up with a new plan.
We have to go. You don't know what you're doing.
Really? I know exactly what I'm doing.
Oh, my dear Henry Jekyll. If ever I've seen Satan's signature upon a face, it is on that of your new friend.
Hey.
Now, run, Mr. Morton.
What?
Run!
Nick! Open the door!
You don't want that.
Stop! Jenny! Stop! I'm offering you a partnership. You, evil incarnate. Me, your good friend Eddie Hyde. Think about it.
Jenny!
Egypt held a lavish parade this weekend as the remains of 22 ancient rulers were transported to their new home. The mummies are a national treasure and were carried in specialized vehicles to a new national museum south of Cairo. Sally Nabil, with our partners at the BBC, was there.
A procession fit for royalty. The mummies of ancient Egyptian kings and queens have left their residence in the Egyptian Museum in the heart of Cairo. They have been moved to a new museum south of the capital, where they will reside for good.
Watching the royal mummies being moved to their new resting place is an impressive moment, a scene to remember. The monarchs making this journey include Queen Hatshepsut and King Ramses II, two of the most famous rulers in ancient Egypt. It's very energetic here, a very vibrant atmosphere.
The mummies parade in custom-made vehicles fitted with shock absorbers to avoid any damage during the journey. The festival-like ceremony, meant to lure tourists back into Egypt, was coupled with tight security measures. Arriving at their new residence in the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization, the royal bodies have been saluted with gunshots. They have been received by the Egyptian president, who takes pride in such a dazzling event.
And this is what laid over the mummy itself, so it's a pretty amazing thing.
It's pretty intense. We talked a little bit about the music and everything, and we really take it to a whole nother level with all of the components that are involved in this experience. And right after this, you actually get to go inside the experience even more with a little bit of extra technology. Tell us about that, because this is all the rage, right?
That's right. So right after the death mask, you'll see the celebration of the 100 years, right? What we've done now to date from an archaeologist standpoint, and then you'll enter our virtual reality experience. Well, you get to enter the tomb in that same format. I mean, it's a pretty incredible thing to see.
Now, 1922, 100 years ago, long time ago, but it doesn't seem that long ago, right? To be able to have this celebration like this and experience it, how does it feel to be able to be a part of that, you guys?
I think that it's great to have been able to bring Discovering King Tut's tomb to not only the Luxor, but just to the individuals here in Las Vegas. I mean, this is the closest you're going to get to Egypt and seeing these artifacts in real life.
Get down! Go, go, go! Oh no, we're gonna die!
What the hell?
Whatever's in there has been safely hidden for 2,000 years. This isn't a tomb. It's a prison. Nick! The hieroglyph said she was named Amenet, chosen to be Egypt's next queen. But her thirst for power led her down a darker path, one that had to be stopped.
Tom Cruise on Tom Cruise Scientologist.
The reviews for his latest screen appearance have been awful.
I think it's a privilege to call yourself a Scientologist, and it's something that you have to earn.
This is Tom Cruise in a film leaked to the internet in praise of Scientology, what it has done for him, and what it can do for you.
We are the authorities on getting people off drugs. We are the authorities on the mind. We are the authorities on improving conditions. Criminon, we can rehabilitate criminals. Way to happiness, we can bring peace and unite cultures.
Because of your actions, this ancient power has returned. You are alive because you were chosen.
Chosen? By what?
Evil.
Legend has it she's a being of unimaginable powers. Now she's using you to regain them.
Oh my God. She will not stop until she has remade our world.
The trailer starts off with major Middle East war propaganda, which we will address later on at the end of this video, but I really believe they really want to keep the lie going of this war on terror. They want to keep this smokescreen going because there really is no war on terror. There really is no Islamic terrorism and all this kind of nonsense. It is all a lie for what they are really up to. But if you're awake, then you definitely know that this war is nothing more than a ploy to advance the agenda. That's all it's about. It is a means to an end. They are fooling the public as to what is truly going on.
You've always credited Scientology as being the thing that's kept you going,
yes.
held you together. And currently you're, and correct me if I'm wrong, an operating thetan. Is that right?
Well, I wouldn't dare get into the nomenclature at this point.
Oh, well.
Because it's like going into
what I was
nomenclature.
intrigued with, what I read is it said that amongst the skills that you've developed is the ability to control energy, space, time and matter, which I'd love to have on my business card. What does that mean?
Well, it means is that, all of the things around us are made of matter, and we're living in space, and we're registering time.
Yeah.
And the better you can control it, the better off you'll be.
So when you walk into a room like this, albeit not a normal room...
a beautiful room.
A beautiful room. When you walk into a room like this, how do you, or any room, how do you employ that?
Well, I make sure that I look at individuals' faces and I see the affection they have for me.
Proud boast indeed, but then the Mission Impossible star has long been vocal about his support for the controversial religion, regarded by many as a cult. The promotional film was recorded 4 years ago and probably not intended for wide release. In it, he goes on to make some bizarre claims.
Being a Scientologist, when you drive past an accident, it's not like anyone else. As you drive past, you know you have to do something about it because you know you're the only one that can really help.
Into her own.
Just stay with me.
I'm scared.
I'm gonna figure this out.
Don't leave me.
You can't run. You can't escape. She's got plans for you.
Let me read the story to you. It's almost too crazy to be true. A janitor turned rocket scientist turned cult member who was also an alleged spy. It's the real-life story of Jack Parsons. CBS drama is called Strange Angel. Second season is now here. Bella, you play Mrs. Parsons. What did you know about the life of Jack Parsons before you signed on to this?
I knew nothing of the life of Jack Parsons, and I remember actually when it was first sent to me, I just thought, oh, this is too fantastical, and didn't believe it. And then was told that it was a true story and read it and just, it kind of blew my mind.
And so he is this incredibly successful and accomplished scientist, but he's also very immersed. Is it fair to call it a sex cult or sex religion? Or?
I mean, that's what I'd call it. Thelema, I would call it a sex cult, whether or not that's okay.
Okay, and for season 2, Mr. and Mrs. invite the cult into your own home.
Yep, as you do.
In Pasadena, no?
As
you do.
As you do.
As one does.
Yeah, the more the merrier, come on in.
And the things he's saying sound like things being said by a Scientologist, as opposed to someone who's done any careful research into the areas covered.
In a statement, the Church of Scientology has said the video clip is a pirated and edited version of a 3-hour event.
The entire audience wants to date you.
Group date.
Why do people get so freaked out about Scientology? Because it's almost treated like the invasion of the body snatchers by its
Well, I don't know. I think the best thing is to read about it. That's always the best thing, is that you find out for yourself and make up your own mind. That's what you're encouraged to do anyway. So I think you just get a good book, read it, and find out for yourself.
And your character sister is involved as well.
Yeah, much to my chagrin, I think, because she, we're just in a bad situation at home with our stepfather, so I invite her in, but she is just trouble, and I'm trying to protect her from the cult, because she's my younger sister, but she's, I think I need protection from her more than anything.
Well, there you are. That's a good lead into this clip. Take a look.
I never wanted to be like Virgil, pushing you into a faith you hadn't chosen for yourself. Though it might be more difficult now, I don't want you to feel pressured to participate.
I don't.
Let me put it another way. Until you're ready, you won't be able to participate.
Who gets to decide if I'm ready?
In the meantime, there'll have to be certain ground rules. You're to respect the privacy of all those living here. And during any kind of gathering, you're not to leave your bedroom.
You can't be serious. I thought the whole point of this was to live with less rules, not more.
Uh-oh, she's trouble.
Oh, dear.
Okay, and then in real life, that character, the sister, went on to marry L. Ron Hubbard.
We see this pit opening up, and Tom Cruise plays a character named Nick, and his colleagues stumble across something in a pit. This particular pit just happens to open up, and right away you see this, what looks like a pagan god image in the ground there. So yet again, the very same theme of Revelation 9:11 and the opening of the pit or the abyss is being shown here. And Tom Cruise, or Nick, is shocked at what he is seeing. So what I really feel sad for these days is that churches have pastors, or the majority of them have pastors, who literally just refuse to teach Bible prophecy, and in my opinion are committing a grave mistake and a disservice to their people, because Yeshua Jesus said himself that we are hypocrites if we can determine the weather, but not the signs of the times. And that's from Matthew 16:1-4. Pastors and Christians need to study their Bibles. They need to be aware of what is being shown in these movies. The signs are everywhere that the end is coming, but sadly the majority of churches want to go on in their prosperity gospels. They want to go on in their vacations and their material things, and thinking that life is all about blessing and having a good time. And not that those things are inherently bad, but they cannot wake up, or at least they don't want to wake up to what is being shown all the time through this propaganda. So I pray, it's one of my heart's desires to see people in the church wake up to what is being shown to us all the time. And as we keep going, one of the characters says, "This isn't a tomb, it's a prison." I believe we're possibly being shown the prison of the Nephilim / fallen angels who are about to be released out of the pit. I find it quite interesting that there are 5 statues of Anubis, and please excuse the typo, I said 3 here by accident, but 5 statues of Anubis. We know according to Egyptian mythology that Anubis is the god or keeper of the underworld.
The statue that you can see behind me is of Anubis, who is the Egyptian god associated with death. He looked after mummification process and embalming process. He was also the protector of the dead, and that's really his role here today. He's protecting the Tutankhamun exhibition as it leaves America and heads for the UK. The Tutankhamun exhibition at the O2 opens on the 15th of November, has fantastic treasures from Tutankhamun's tomb, but also from ancient Egypt around about the same time. There are about 130 objects altogether. It really tells the story of the boy king Tutankhamun, who actually only lived till 18, but is probably one of the most famous ancient Egyptian pharaohs that there ever was.
Again, 5 statues, I think, denoting the 5th age or the age of the gods that is about to come.
There are some people who claim we are now in a deglobalizing world. But actually, I would say we have to re-globalize this world. We have to make sure that we strengthen cooperation because, as it was mentioned, we are faced with issues which are of existential importance for humankind. We, through joint efforts, we could really make this world a better place by using the capabilities we have.
And then we see this picture of Tom Cruise, who has just released this thing. He pulled out his gun and he shot this rope that was holding this coffin. And I found it quite interesting that he is named Nick in this movie. Do you know what significance is there about his name being Nick? It's quite fascinating when we look at an article that I've shown many times about Santa Claus. I know it might sound silly that I'm bringing up Santa Claus, but yet again, of course, his name just happens to be Saint Nick, and I will leave links to this article as well. But Nick just so happens to be, as shown here, Old Nick, a well-known British name of the devil, okay, or even in Dutch, Nicken, or the devil. So Nick actually is another way to represent Lucifer, Beelzebub, Satan. Good old Nick is really what is being shown here. So I wonder why Santa or Satan is also named Saint Nick. You know, it makes more sense when you realize what Nick is actually all about. I also find it interesting that Yeshua says in the Revelation to the letters to the churches how he hates the practice of the Nicolaitans, so possibly where the term Nick is a short form of Nicolaitans, which is basically practices of devil worshippers. And Nick, as seen here, represents Satan, in my opinion, about to release the beast.
Meet Nicky.
Hello, friend.
It's his first day in New York City.
You crazy!
After a day like this,
Hey, can I ask you something?
most people would pack up and head home. But for Nicky, this is a picnic compared to where he's from. Hell.
That's a truck, son. Don't stand in front of them. Well, I'll have to take a mulligan on this one.
Now, he's giving Earth one more chance.
My name is Beefy. I'm an old friend of your father's.
And this time, there's someone to show him the ropes.
Now, kid, put it in your mouth. Oh, boy.
He's starting to feel new things.
I like it better than the gelati.
And even make some new friends.
Wrap your minds around this, Chicago.
I love this song.
I command you to spread the blood of the innocent.
Oh my God, Chicago is awesome.
But the last thing his evil brothers want
Calling you out, brother.
is for Nikki to be happy.
Can't make me go back.
Of course I can.
This is Krampus, and believe it or not, this creature is actually an important part of Christmas for many people. Now, the legend says that Krampus and Saint Nick work together during Christmas, sort of like good cop, bad cop. Santa rewards children who behave, and Krampus, well, he drags misbehaving children straight to hell. Now, Krampus is as real as Santa Claus for many children around the world. Some actually believe that a chain-whipping demon goat will come to get them on Christmas if they misbehave,
Forcing him
Release your evil.
to find some powers of his own.
This Coke tastes like Pepsi.
You changed a Coke into a Pepsi. That was your big transformation? That was pretty good for my first try.
From the guys who brought you The Water Boy and Big Daddy.
How's it doing that? How's it doing that? We all gonna die! How can I win?
You have something that he doesn't have.
A speech impediment?
You can do it, Nikki!
Adam Sandler.
Never doubt my skills.
Little Nicky.
Oh, yes! I mean, woof, woof.
And we'll see more why he possibly represents Satan or all-out evil for that matter. And so then we see the next scene. This is the coffin that was held by ropes that Nick shot and released out of the water. Go figure, again, coming out of the water. So what exactly does Nick release? So when you check out the rays of the sun around this thing, it's an 11-pointed mummy coffin. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you got 11 rays. Many of us know who are awake that 11 signifies destruction. It is a number of all-out destruction. Notice also the fallen angel / sun god symbolism on the coffin, which is basically a symbol of the sun god Ra. We've also got the same kind of thing with these rays of the sun on the Statue of Liberty, basically representing or showing Apollo, a male, cross-dressing as a female. Isis is what is being shown here. Pagan, mystery, Babylon, religion is exactly what the American gods are all about. These are the gods that the Luciferian elite of America and the world worship. And of course, the same symbol is shown on this coffin, the signature of the sun god Ra, right here on the coffin. And you've got the sun symbolism right on the head. So in my opinion, this is blatantly showing us the same theme of resurrection, that the false Messiah is about to appear. And it's the same thing that Revelation 13 says, why the people of the world will follow and worship this false Messiah, because they will think that he or she is a resurrected God.
So we all knew Beyonce was a queen, but at the Grammys, she proved to us that she was an actual goddess. Her surprise performance was insane, so let's break down the top 5 moments. Hey, I'm Carly, and you're watching the Hollywire Hot Minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, with a mother's pride, my daughter, Beyonce.
Beyonce's mom, Tina, gave her a sweet intro, which was totally fitting because her performance was all about being a mother and her twins. They kicked it all off with a video montage and some spoken word, and we all collectively wondered, what is happening?
Do you remember being born? Are you thankful for the hips that cracked, the deep velvet of your mother, and her mother, and her mother? You look nothing like your mother.
I wonder if that's in reference to people saying that Blue Ivy looks more like Jay-Z. Anyway, Bea also floated backward on a chair, and we were all like, whoa, 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 she's pregnant with twins. Be careful.
Part 2 of our conversation with the superstar singer, she opens up to Morning Express about family and how her children impacted her decision for this new business venture, that she will be heading up a gender-neutral clothing line for children. Here's your second time at a front row seat with Celine Dion as she tells Chloe Mullis about her life now.
The first time I brought them to Disney, I thought they were going to go for, you know, the big superheroes. They were looking at princesses. And they all wanted to be, you know, Minnie Mouse. And then I said, but what about Mickey? And then I'm saying to myself, you know what? It's okay. You know why it's okay? Because they're talking, they're finding themselves.
Oh, and also we got some really intense eye contact. Beyonce, I feel like you're putting a spell on me right now. And after some more visually stunning moments, she, you know, just casually mentioned,
Now that reconciliation is possible, if we're gonna heal, let it be glorious.
you guys, what does this mean? Is she talking about the world or her marriage? Is Beyonce trying to tell us she's some kind of religious figure now? Either way, it was definitely reminiscent of her pregnancy announcement photo shoot times about 1,000,000.
We may thrust them forward into the future, but the course will always be theirs to choose.
Celine wants all kids to find themselves, not just her own. And she hopes her partnership with New will help. The clothes in her new line are gender neutral.
Some parents might be a little worried or concerned seeing their child put on their heels or put on their nails.
I'm not here Celine Dion singer who's got 3 kids, who's going to tell the world right now, you should do it this way, you should not do that, this is wrong. Listen, I'm not doing that. Let them tell you what they feel like.
That is what I believe is coming, this resurrection or this fake resurrection of this pagan deity, which is basically Nimrod, Tammuz, Isis, all of them. They are coming to rule this world for an permitted amount of time by Abba Yahweh because of the judgment that is coming. And then later on we see that this the narrator says, or the person in the trailer says, the hieroglyphs said she was named Amenet, chosen to be Egypt's next queen. So just who is this Amenet supposed to be? Is there any record of her? And sure enough, good old Wikipedia has some information here, and I'm sure you could see the same thing for yourself in different sources. But we see this very interesting picture of this deity or this princess that is resurrected with this. Her eyeballs are able to split into 4, so that is definitely not natural. Very evil stuff going on here. But Amenet, according to Wikipedia, was a primordial goddess in ancient Egyptian religion. She is a member of the Ogdod and the consort of Amun. So right away that should tell you something here, because Amun is a very interesting character, and we will see that in a bit just who Amun is. And I'm sure many of you know already, or already thinking of Amun-Ra, which we will see in just a bit. But her name, meaning the female hidden one, was simply the feminine form of Amun's own name. So basically showing the duality, the male and the female in one being, in one character. So this Amun and Amenet are basically the same. The male version Amun, the female version Amenet. So basically the consort of Amun. And we will talk about this whole male-female consort later on, because you will see how much this all ties into what is literally being.
You know, Mr. Rourke was kind of vague about how I was going to get my fantasy.
Take a bite.
Oh, I get it. It's apple knowledge.
Oh, very good.
Macintosh? Oh.
You all right, Mr. Rawlings? It's okay. Vertigo's normal. What did you do to me? I'm a woman. I think I'll call you Brenda.
I can't tell her the truth, Ariel. We ate popcorn in bed together. It's a betrayal, that's what it is. It's taking unfair advantage, and it makes me exactly the guy that I'm trying not to be. So, I think the best thing to do is let her go.
But you still love her.
I know.
Take a bite. Mr. Rawlings, I'd like to tell you a story.
If we go to who Amun is, of course, he was the major ancient Egyptian deity. He was attested since the Old Kingdom together with his wife Amenet. Okay, so later on we see that after the rebellion of Thebes, Amun acquired national importance expressed in his fusion with the sun god Ra as Amun-Ra or Amun-Re. So we can see that Amun or Amun-Ra or Amenet, this is all sun god worship, and many people know that Amun-Ra is basically one of the chief deities or the chief deity of ancient Egyptian mythology, and lo and behold, he just happens to be identified with Zeus in Greece. So later on, as time went on, of course, the ancient Egyptians, they ruled the world for some time. Later on, the Babylonians, their version of the sun god was Nimrod or Marduk, or I believe that was the Sumerian version. And of course, we have that as well. Marduk, who is, according to the ancient Sumerians, and the name of the patron deity of the city of Babylon. So, you know, basically Marduk to the Babylonians, Amun-Ra to the Egyptians, Zeus to the Greeks. I mean, you name it. All of these ancient religions have the same character, the sun god worship. And so the fact that he is a similar character to Zeus is known by the fact that he is associated with Jupiter. So what I find fascinating is when we look at the many names of Marduk, he just so happens to have names like Baal. Here we go. We'll show Sumerian Enlil, Nimrod. Okay, so this is where it all boils down to Nimrod. This is all different versions of Nimrod. We've got, as we keep going here, we'll see Osiris. Okay, you've got Osiris there.
By the power of Grayskull.
For the honor of Grayskull.
Double trouble. Let's move, Cat.
So I said quietly, agreed politely.
So Amunet, in my opinion, just so happens to be the female version of Amun-Ra, of Zeus, of Marduk, of Baal, which his consort, of course, was Ashtoreth. So it's the same thing, Mystery Babylon and her consort. So really, the age of the gods is coming, the fifth age, or the age of Aquarius. This is exactly what the Luciferian elites are waiting for. It is their golden age. This is what they are waiting for. We know that for a fact now, from so many of these movies and TV shows, children's cartoons even, they show the same theme of resurrection of some ancient deity. This is definitely coming. And as we keep going, we see the narrator says, but her thirst for power led her down a darker path. So we see she basically has slit the king's throat. We can see the blood on her face there. So really, to me, is more blood sacrifice programming going on here. Just the same thing as we keep seeing in so many TV shows and movies. Of course, we've spoken about the Santa Clarita Diet many times in different videos and other TV shows and movies that show the same bloodlust and Baal practice and all this kind of thing. So really, this is nothing new.
New has been around for years. Its founders created the fashion line out of necessity when they couldn't find clothing for their own kids.
Fashion has the power to shape people's minds. We're at New trying to shape the future of all human beings by saying, find your own individuality.
We bring a new order as a concept
into the world.
You know what? You don't know what they're going to become later. And you don't want for them to have psychologiquement a problem of growth and say, I'm supposed to be like that, I'm supposed to say that, I'm supposed to dress like this because I'm a guy, I'm a boy, I'm supposed to do. No, you don't know. Let people be who they are as quick and as soon as possible.
Definitely, that is what is being shown here. This is what they are waiting for, the age of Aquarius, when all the gods come back, when they believe they're going to have their golden age, they're going to have their peace and harmony, and people are just going to bow down to these things because this is what the devil wants. He wants to be worshipped along with his fallen angels. They all want to be worshipped as gods, and so they believe they're going to enlighten, as even in this picture you see many times the sixth chakra up in the mind. They're going to open the third eye. The mixing of the red and blue to make the purple, the opening of the third eye. This is what they want to bring onto humanity, is all-out paganism, is all-out devil worship.
Meanwhile, famous names really pulled out all the stops for Halloween.
Heidi to the right.
Heidi Klum dressed as a peacock. The feathers were actually members of the famous Cirque du Soleil, who contorted their bodies in dramatic fashion. That's her daughter Lenny dressed as Strawberry Shortcake. Actor Bradley Cooper hit the streets with his daughter dressed as Rocket Raccoon from Guardians of the Galaxy. Actress Michelle Williams wore bunny ears as she went trick-or-treating with her daughter. Kendall Jenner spun herself into Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman! Ozzy Osbourne and his wife Sharon channeled a wacky Kanye West moment. Remember when he and new wife Bianca Censori strolled about Italy? And she had a pillow to her body. Sharon Osbourne sure nailed the look. And here's Christina Aguilera as Cher, The Rock as David Beckham, and Diddy hit the streets as Batman. The Halloween parade in New York City was a raucous affair, and the revelers didn't much care that the thermometer had dropped.
I feel like I'm in Florida. That's the type of energy and the type of warmth there is here.
And no one brings an end to Halloween like Mariah Carey. It's straight to Christmas for her.
Hey, Sheldon, are you and Leonard putting up a Christmas tree?
No, because we don't celebrate the ancient pagan festival of Saturnalia.
Saturnalia?
Gather round, kids. It's time for Sheldon's beloved Christmas special.
In the pre-Christian era, as the winter solstice approached and the plants died, pagans brought evergreen boughs into their homes as an act of sympathetic magic intended to guard the life essences of the plants until spring. This custom was later appropriated by Northern Europeans, and eventually it becomes the so-called Christmas tree.
And pagan religion. So this is what they want to do, and this is exactly what we're being shown constantly. And later on we see in the trailer as they're in the plane transporting this thing, the character goes, because of your actions this ancient power has returned. Gee, that's just swell. Thanks a lot, Nick, for shooting this coffin and bringing this thing back to life. And so I also found it interesting. Notice the the sun rays that just so happen to be hitting the coffin of Amenet. This is definitely no coincidence. We already talked about the fact that these lines here could possibly represent the rays of the sun. We see that in so much of different imagery, and so much of these pagan gods. We'll see the sun rays around them, or the halo, or this sun symbolism right behind their heads. So same kind of thing. This is more sun worship, Lucifer, devil worship that is being shown here. And that is about to come on the scene. And so Nick and his entire crew seemingly die due to crashing from the chaos unleashed on their plane. Sorry for the typo here. But are they really dead? Notice the 5 bodies also, again denoting, I believe, the 5th age, or the age of the gods that is to come. I believe, again, we're being shown the age of Aquarius that is about to come upon this world. And so later on,
I was a human, breathing and thinking, eating and drinking, philosophizing. I was a human before you killed me and ripped my heart out. I knew what love was. Now when they ask me, I just reply slow and sound like an iPhone. I do not know love. I am a robot. I am a robot, thoughtless and empty. Don't know who sent me, don't know who made me. Electric robot, everything's grey now, numb to the pain now. I knew what love was.
And we see in that same scene that suddenly Nick wakes up from the dead. You know, has he been resurrected? He gets told that he's alive because he was chosen, that he was literally chosen by evil. So, you know, does this mean that Nick is now possessed by evil to do evil's work? Again, we're being shown a satanic death resurrection ritual here. Nick has been reborn.
From Wes Craven, director of A Nightmare on Elm Street, comes a story of the forbidden world between life and death.
There's a door to the mystical, and you've just walked through it.
Somebody brought him back from the grave, and I want to know how they did it.
Death is not the end. I'll take your soul. You think you can take these people's secrets and just walk away?
In the shadows of the imagination lies the ultimate nightmare.
Don't let them bury me. I'm not dead.
The Serpent and the Rainbow.
So it's quite fascinating that how we showed earlier that Nick just so happens to be another term for the devil or Satan, and now he is possessed by evil to do evil's work. So he has literally been reborn and chosen by evil, or should I say chosen by Satan, the devil, to literally possess him and to be reborn, to be used for, I would say, Satan's glory, for evil's glory.
This thing. There's no conscience. Just hunger. The rider's going to come out. And when he does, he'll destroy whoever's got it coming.
He'll take on a new form. One more powerful than he's ever known.
I'm not afraid of you.
Should be.
I used to know love, 'cause I had fire, passion and desire. Now all I require marimba. I used to know love.
Ghost Rider.
That's what it's all about. Yeah, it is. You know, I want to talk about the you have two passions here. You have your love of comics, and you also have motorcycles here. So
yeah, those are two of many. When I think about it, it's the perfect match for me, because I do enjoy riding motorcycles, and I grew up reading comic books, and particularly Ghost Rider and the Hulk, because I like the monsters. I couldn't understand how something so scary to look at could also be good. So it was, right off the bat, it was a paradox that was compelling. And I like westerns, which this movie is, and I like horror films, which this movie has a bit of, and I like comedies, and I like classic literature like Faust and Beauty and the Beast, and all this is rolled into one film.
In our house, it's not Christmas without reindeer pancakes for breakfast.
Those look really
Good?
good.
Yeah. Dad always tries to guess what he's getting. Bacon has to be in everything. And we always have Nana's mince pies. Apparently you use fruit mince, but we use beef. It's kind of weird.
However you do Christmas, we've got you sorted at New World.
Totally putting it out there in that movie that they need to destroy the old world, or the world as we know it. They're going to tear down everything, rebuild, and make basically the age of the gods come. And it says that the fourth beast shall be a fourth kingdom on earth, which shall be different from all other kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, trample it, and break it in pieces. So really, the fact that it's going to be different from all other kingdoms, to me, denotes that it will literally be Satan and his fallen angels ruling this world. They're going to break it apart, exactly what Apocalypse said in X-Men, exactly what Robert Redford said in Captain America, exactly what is being shown here, that this Amunet is destroying the world. She's remaking it in order to bring in the new. So they are constantly showing us literally what the Bible has been saying for millennia, that they are going to devour and destroy the entire earth, trample it, and break it in pieces in order for them to have their fifth age.
The design of my legs is inspired by the robot Byron, developed by Engineered Arts Limited. It has unique mechanical properties that allow it to walk without using too much energy. The prototype legs are made of aluminum and plastic. I think it will take about a year for my walking legs to be ready. The design of them is extraordinary.
If I were the Prince of Darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve. Do as you please.
John Gray and Aventer Gray are going to be your pastors. And I really believe that John and Aventer have always been anointed. But the anointing that is going to fall on them now that they're senior pastors is going to do amazing damage to the kingdom of God. Amazing damage. Amazing damage. Amazing damage to the kingdom of God.
To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square.
Luxury. We've been programmed, told how it's supposed to look, supposed to feel, supposed to act. But we're done listening. Let's torch this tired act. Watch it burn. From the ashes comes freedom. Freedom from trends, from false influence, and empty symbols. At Gen Air, we answer only to progress. And now, we rise anew, awoken, defiant, limitless. legionnaire, bound by nothing.
And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies, and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills.
There's even some talk of using this sort of nanotechnology to target drugs. So if we attach a specific drug to the nanoparticles here, we could put it in the entire body and it would all be dilute. But if we target an organ with a strong magnetic field, we can actually cause all of the drugs to go.
So if we attach a specific drug to the nanoparticles here, we could put it in the entire body.
We saw the same thing in the commercial as the vehicle is driving through. We see these crazy creatures coming out of the water or walking around. I believe this was like a mermaid kind of creature. They even showed another woman doing witchcraft, and she had snakes all over her head, literally like a Medusa. So all these Nephilim pagan deities.
The Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV, the UK's best-selling plug-in hybrid. In a world of hybrids, some follow, others lead.
Later on, Nick gets told that he can't run, he can't escape, that she's got big plans for him. So it looks to me that Lucifer has big plans for this world, wouldn't you say? The judgment is coming, the destroyer is coming, and as we look at some other things here, I find it interesting that there just happens to be a very special relationship between Kali and Shiva, basically the Hindu version of, I believe, of what all these pagan gods that we have been talking about, that Shiva is the silent, eternal, all-pervading aspect of the transcendental reality. Shiva is often depicted as spending years meditating unperturbed. Mother Kali is the dynamic aspect of the transcendental reality. Kali in Sanskrit literally means time, so Chronos, all that same kind of thing. Kali is depicted as dancing on Shiva to illustrate the interaction between Shiva, the silent, all-pervading force, and Kali, the destroyer of time.
If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flame.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest
responsibility
is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about troubling and irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money.
The finances of a church led by a popular televangelist are under close scrutiny this morning. It comes as Pastor Creflo Dollar asks his followers to buy him a $65 million private jet. Mark Strassman is outside the World Changers Church International in College Park, Georgia. Mark, good morning.
Good morning. This church behind me is like any house of worship. It is nonprofit and tax exempt, but it is also highly controversial, most recently when the pastor asked the faithful to help him travel the world in style.
Dream for the best house. Dream for the best car.
He's a pastor named Dollar who preaches the prosperity gospel. The more you give, the more you shall receive.
Just because the world don't have it, don't mean you can't have it.
Creflo Dollar's sermons pack his 8,500-seat megachurch. His ministry has prospered with satellite churches in at least a dozen states and hundreds of thousands of online followers.
I am the resurrection.
Dollar owns this multi-million-dollar mansion and condo. In March, his website asked the faithful to help him buy something else.
To give contributions of $300 US or more.
A $65 million Gulfstream G650 jet, the top of the line in luxury air travel. One church member, Mary Jones, plans on answering the pastor's call, even though she rides the bus 20 miles every Sunday to Dollar's church.
We support our pastor. That's what we're here for. The work that he do and where the Lord have him traveling, he doesn't need a cheap airplane. He needs the best.
Isn't it true that you want to fly commercial so that you can fly in luxury? How much money did you pay for Tyler Perry's Gulfstream jet, for example?
Well, for example, that's really none of your business, but...
Isn't it the business of your donors?
Listen, I paid. The airplane that we have that I bought from Tyler Perry, and I didn't pay anywhere. Tyler's one of the greatest guys. He made that airplane so cheap for me, I couldn't help but buy it. I love your eyes.
Again, getting back to the comment, you said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did.
Kali creates the cycles of time on the underlying structure of Shiva. Kali and Shiva are very close. They could be considered to be the yin and yang of creation. But here's what I find interesting. Mother Kali is the consort of Lord Shiva. So we just throw the same thing of Amunet and Amun-Ra. She is the consort of Amun-Ra. So same thing, the destroyer. We know that Shiva is the destroyer in Hindu mythology and Hindu religion, that Kali is his wife basically, and she is also the even more, I believe, destructive than Shiva. She even dances on her own husband and is completely the destroyer. Her and Shiva together are consorts. And so what just so happens to be the same image that is at the CERN facility in Switzerland. It just happens to be Shiva, the destroyer. Okay, so he's doing the dance of the Nataraja, talking about destruction. We know that CERN, we've got the 666 right in the logo of CERN. So really the same kind of thing is being shown here, that the destroyer is coming and CERN is working towards that. Exactly what Revelation 9 speaks of. Then the fifth angel sounded. I saw a star fallen from heaven to the earth. To him was given the key to the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and smoke arose out of the pit like a smoke of a great furnace. Okay, and then later on you see they had a king over them, the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, but in Greek he has the name Apollyon, which means destroyer. Even according to the CJB, they had as king over them the angel of the abyss, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in our language, destroyer. So same thing, Shiva, Kali, Amunet, Amun-Ra, these are the destroyers. They are coming to destroy this world, and CERN, I believe, is going to be the key. I find it quite fascinating when I saw, or possibly going to be the key, that there was this article that came out some time ago, and they literally gave this key for the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider. These people, they look all gleeful and joyful at what they're doing. They possibly have no idea, or I'm sure the top people at CERN are definitely Luciferian elites, but the scientists that work there, they have no clue, I believe, what's going on here. Here's this key that they are being given. Here's a close-up of that key. Got the LHC right on there. This to me could totally represent the key of Revelation 9 that opens the shaft of the abyss that ushers in the destroyer.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Westerns and the Ghost Rider and so forth. That, for me, it was always Iron Man, because I always thought, I can't get superhero powers, but if I had this suit, I could go out and do that. And that was always, and the same thing too, if in the mythology, if you could sell your soul to the devil, this could happen to you. I think that was the...
Well, in an interesting way, Ghost Rider is more real if you go for that sort of thing, in that he deals between the spiritual and the material. And if you have an open mind, anything is possible.
Hello, Beast.
Who's this?
This is my dear friend Martha. This is Aleister Crowley. How do you do?
Eat, drink, be happy.
What, dancing, Martha?
Not my thing.
What is your thing? Oh, everyone has a thing. My thing is love.
That's not very satanic.
On the contrary, Satan is love. In your heart, you worship Satan just as I do. Every beautiful woman does.
He's also unique. He's special. He's a little deeper, a little more interesting than the big three, which for me would be Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. And those characters need no introduction, but this one does. And the good news is that I was able to introduce him to you as a movie-going audience and sort of build him from scratch.
We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities and powers.
If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious.
If you were successful, somebody along the line gave you some help. There was a great teacher somewhere in your life. Somebody helped to create this unbelievable American system that we have that allowed you to thrive. Somebody invested in roads and bridges. If you got a business, you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen.
What'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
I would most likely choose ketchup over mayonnaise because I like the taste of ketchup more, because I realize that ketchup has a more tangy and acidic taste that I actually prefer.
You're running along a cliff and you're going to fall. On the right side of the cliff is a lake of ketchup and on the left side is a lake of mayonnaise. Which way would you go?
I would choose to go to the right because I prefer the taste of ketchup over mayonnaise. We could go to the ketchup lake on the right because I prefer the taste of ketchup.
Now, my Ghost Rider didn't eat jelly beans and listen to Karen Carpenter. So
yeah, my Ghost Rider does because that's me. That's my own life. I thought if you were trying to keep evil spirits away, you wouldn't invite them in with a glass of gin or satanic rock music. You would try to keep them away with maybe the vocal stylings of Karen Carpenter and just a little bit of sin and some jelly beans, the candy. I don't think he would be watching The Exorcist. I think he'd be watching chimps do karate, anything that was ridiculous to try to just relax.
I'm so glad. All right, Crowley. Let's not waste our breath on formalities.
At once, sir.
So Such a lovely boy.
What do you want, Crowley?
I want your soul, of course. That is, my master wants it.
Do it yours. Give me my sister.
You're a businessman, Mr. Wayne. You know that saying something doesn't make it so. I'll need a contract, inked in your blood.
Oh, please spare me this pillage. I don't believe in Satan.
Oh, you're modern, rational, well-educated, a civilized man of peace and moderation. Of course you don't believe in Satan, but that doesn't matter. Satan believes in you.
Cute.
It's you he wants. Your spiritual essence, not your company.
Alistair is just a very wise and loving man. A teacher.
In exchange for my sister's liberty, I have to sell... I have to sell my soul to the devil.
Precisely. You get my master's eternal friendship. You're a smart businessman, Mr. Wayne. Think of that. Think of the power you'll have.
I have power now, you fool. I could buy and sell the likes of you.
See now, there's the beast inside of you. There's no beast in you. Now be honest, Thomas. Tell me you didn't meet the devil.
Yeah.
Is everything in place?
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave.
What's your problem?
Yo, I'm a paparazzi. I don't play no Yahtzee. I go pop, 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 pop. My camera's up your crotch.
If you want to be a drag queen and your parents don't let you, you need new parents. If you want to be a drag queen and your friends don't let you, you need new friends. Super pumped. I'm gonna walk the runway and I'm gonna Vogue.
Yeah.
Again, you couldn't make this stuff up.
I know. When I'm like giving people the summary, I'm like, so my husband, he's a janitor,
Yeah.
he invents rocket scientists,
What?
we get into this sex cult, and then my sister takes off with L. Ron Hubbard and he found Scientology, and everyone's like, what? I'm like, yeah, this happened in the 40s, meanwhile.
Wow.
I know, it's mental.
So when you're calling the family back in Melbourne and explaining this, are they like, come home immediately?
I mean, I seem to be the go-to girl for these kind of roles, and so I'm just like, it's another thing you probably shouldn't watch, Dad.
Right. Yeah.
But I bought a house, so.
There's that.
Take that, Dad.
Yeah.
No, that's true. But I tell you what, you and several of your colleagues are able to slip into these quote-unquote American accents, it seems to us, so easily.
Oh, it's just like Darwinism or something. It's survival of the fittest. You have to. Otherwise, I don't know, we're still neighbours and home and away.
and heaven forbid that. Second season of Strange Angel premieres on CBS All Access today. Entire first season is available to binge on CBS All Access. Bella, nice to meet you.
Thank you, Bella.
Thanks,
Also, we were all young. We did crazy things. I'm assuming you rode when you were younger. But what was the craziest thing you ever did on a motorcycle? Did you have?
Yeah, there are a few that I shouldn't have done, and I don't want to go on record with it, but I don't recommend it.
Yeah. No, let's talk about the bike itself, because it's pretty cool. Because that was one of the things when I was thinking, because I stay away from everything. Trailers, I don't want to see anything. I want to go in cold.
Yeah,
and I was wondering, how are they going to do the bike?
Well, they did it very thoughtfully. I mean, they wanted to see this character, the bike, the Hell Cycle, as a living entity, a living spiritual entity that transforms with Johnny Blaze. When Johnny becomes Ghost Rider, his chopper, his Harley Davidson chopper, turns into the Hell Cycle. It's pretty cool. He's like it's alive.
Well, and one thing you mentioned in talking about a Western, the perfect pairing in this movie, to me, was Sam Elliott as the caretaker.
Yeah, because he's a classic, elegant cowboy, isn't he? And he's from Malibu, and you know, I grew up in the West as well, but he's just got this drawl about him that is so perfectly Western. He's a classic.
Yeah. Well, I hope this catches on. I can
Thank
see
you.
more.
All right, thank you.
So you're here for a money now loan.
Don't worry, Mr. Ghostwriter, we're going to get you out of here real fast. Just need your W-2 so I can analyze your tax information. That's right, this will work. So here's your money now loan check.
Virgin voguing, because he's been taking voguing classes with Gerard X. Reyes, who's fantastic. He's doing first time in drags at a ball.
For this cause, God gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another. Men with men working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was meet. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind, to do those things which are not convenient.
You see, I take these glasses off, she looks like a regular person, doesn't she, huh? Put them back on, formaldehyde face.
Old Man River, that old man river.
You know, you look like your head fell in the cheese dip back in 1957.
The Matrix is a computer-generated dream world, built to keep us under control in order to change a human being into this.
Drag Queen Story Hour.
This one is called Worm Loves Worm.
Talking, singing, and reading.
We can both be grooms.
To an audience of preschoolers, toddlers, and their caregivers.
The hips on the drag queen go swish, 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 swish. I'm a girl.
Stop. Let me out. Let me out. I want to... Look at them. They're everywhere. Now, hold on. You ain't the first son of a bitch to wake up out of their dream.
The day my water broke, I was recording Jessica Rabbit.
No. I don't believe it. It's not possible. You know what you need? You need a Brazilian plastic surgeon.
I've got one that can see.
Take care.
Shiva, Kali, Amunet, Amundra, Nimrod, Baal, whatever you want to call Isis, Ishtar, all these same destroyer gods, these pagan deities, the fallen angels, the Nephilim, the dragon, the beast, they are going to be unleashed very, very soon upon this world. I believe the signs of the times are everywhere. So we please pay attention to all of this stuff. And, you know, talking about the elites, I find it quite fascinating that good old David Rockefeller himself has made cryptic references to this. Many of you will know this quote of his, that some even believe that we, the Rockefeller family, are part of a secret cabal working against the best interests of the United States, characterizing my family and me as internationalists and of conspiring with others around the world to build a more integrated global political and economic structure. One world, if you will. If that's the charge, I stand guilty and I am proud of it. So he's already proud of that. But get this phrase, or get this saying. We are on the verge of a global transformation. All we need is the right major crisis and the nations will accept the new world order. So really the same kind of thing. All they need is the right major crisis. You know, I really believe they want to usher in these pagan deities, their gods, the fallen angels, the Nephilim that they worship. They want to usher in the right crisis. And wouldn't it be interesting that the proper crisis could be the unleashing of these pagan deities, of these fallen angels, satanic deities that will come and destroy this world in order to remake it for the age of the gods, for the fifth age, the age of Aquarius that is coming. So that could possibly be the right major crisis that will make the nations accept the New World Order. And, you know, talking about the war propaganda that we spoke of earlier, I totally believe, or at least it's in my humble opinion, that all the wars that have been waged lately, whether it was Desert Storm, whether it was, you know, all this stuff in Afghanistan and all this stuff going on in the Middle East, I believe that all these wars are nothing more than a smokescreen, that the war on terror has been a smokescreen for what they are truly doing. I believe they are sending in the troops into these places to collect all of these relics, the DNA of Nimrod, Osiris, whatever you want to call them, so that they can have their resurrection moment. And and the fact that these wars have been basically more about pillaging and plundering the museums and the artifacts, the relics in these ancient parts of the world in the Middle East, in order for them to capture the DNA of Nimrod, in order to resurrect this guy, to bring about the beast.
A massive sculpture facing Lower Manhattan invites the city to stop and listen. Water Soul is an 80-foot sculpture by artist Jean Plensa. It depicts a woman with her index finger pressed against her lips. Plensa says the work tells people to keep silent and listen to the noise of the water talking. When the statue was recently unveiled, its call for silence competed with the hum of diesel engines, the overhead roar of helicopters, and cries of laughter from children riding in strollers along the river walkways. But Plensa says those aren't the sounds his artwork targets. Rather, he encourages people to silence the noise of information and messages.
Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? I was. Look again.
I wrote unto you in an epistle not to company with fornicators, yet not altogether with the fornicators of this world, or with the covetous, or extortioners, or with idolaters, for then must ye needs go out of the world. But now I have written unto you not to keep company if any man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner. With such an one know not to eat. For what have I to do to judge them also that are without? Do not ye judge them that are within? But them that are without God judgeth. Therefore put away from among yourselves that wicked person.
Ka! It's you!
Yes, man cub. So nice to see you again.
Oh, go away. Leave me alone.
Let me look at you. You don't want me to look at you? Then you look at me.
No, sir. I know what you're trying to do, Ka.
You do? I mean, you don't trust me.
No.
Then there's nothing I can do to help.
You want to help me?
Certainly.
Okay. So let's dedicate this to General Kelly, the Border Patrol, and the ICE agents for doing such an incredible job. Right? This was written by Al Wilson a long time ago. And I thought of it having to do with our borders and people coming in. And we know what we're going to have. We're going to have problems. We have to very, very carefully vet. We have to be smart. We have to be vigilant. So here it is, the snake. It's called The Snake. On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty-colored skin had been all frosted with the dew, Poor thing, she cried, I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you. The border. Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk and laid him by her fireside with some honey and some milk. She hurried home from work that night, and as soon as she arrived, she found that pretty snake she'd taken in had been revived. Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed that vicious snake. She clutched him to her bosom. You're so beautiful, she cried. But if I hadn't brought you in by now, oh heavens, you would have died. She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed him and held him tight. But instead of saying thank you, that snake gave her a vicious bite. Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. I have saved you, cried the woman, and you've bitten me, heavens, why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die. Oh, shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in. Does that explain it, folks? Does that explain it?
Trust in me.
The gains have been substantial, both for ourselves and for you, the human power elite. You have given us entree to the resources we need in our ongoing quest for multidimensional expansion.
You still don't get it, do you, boys? There ain't no countries anymore. No more good guys. They're running the whole show. They own everything.
He's a tall, Caucasian male, doesn't appear armed, wearing sunglasses.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Over the horizon. Over the horizon.